from the Philippines. Welcome, welcome everyone. Shout out to all. Hello guys, hello people. Hi Ate Marilyn, mega love shout out. Good evening po. Good evening Ate Marilyn, kumusta? Kumusta? Kaibigan ko. Babat yung isa kong phone. Hello Sis Annie, good evening. Pasensya na kayo guys, ngayon lang ako nakaano kasi stress ako sa politics ngayon kasi we have to be online warriors. Nina Lecahera, hello. Shout out po. Good evening. Good evening po sa inyong lahat. Ayan. Shout out po sa lahat. So, I believe na yung each individual in the Philippines are in danger kasi yung traitor natin ay huwag kayong magalit sa akin kasi ito po ay opinion ko lamang. Nasa feeling ko po ay hindi po safe na sa Pilipinas kasi gano'n na lang ka easy na i-violate yung ating constitutional law. Na meron naman tayong sariling batas, meron tayong sariling justice, may sarili tayong korte. Bakit kailangan ng ating Pangulong Duterte doon pa talaga dalhin sa sa ICC na illegitimate naman silang court. Yung ika nga sabi ni President Trump, ICC or international law is illegitimate. So how can you allow your people to be there in ICC, which is we are not part and we're not actually involved our country to international court. So we have our own court. We have Supreme Court. But whatever evidences they have there in ICC, that is not legal because it's not even, the procedure with the evidences is not being processed, due process here in the Supreme Court. So you can't say that, you can't really say that it is it's legal basis whatever evidences they have in the Philippines.
Pwede mong bawasan ng
in
alak,
ICC.
pero ito kahit
So even the ICC also violated the international law about the rules of international law because of the situation we have in the Philippines, that we are not anymore have relationship with international law or ICC. Ayan, Nina Lekahena, tingnan ko. Hello, Commander Vlog, shout out. Super Day 44, shout out. Hi, FilipinaRaquel, worry the Chinese will take over your country. Actually, no, that's not true. we are not actually going with that. And now President Trump talk about, the humanity rights that we have is being violated. So hopefully that USA or President Trump, your military will defend our country, whatever it takes, because um, individually our human rights is being violated, and especially our former president, he have a human rights as well as an individual, as a Filipino. But why bring him to other court, which we have our own court? If he violated here in the Philippines, it should be tackled and do the due process here in the Philippines only, not in other court. But our authority really violated the human rights or the humanity rights under the constitutional law with our former president. And also, the national security in the Philippines is really, really in danger because of that. And it's very, very embarrassing and shameful that how could our president doesn't have that, we call it bayag, or have that kind of decision for himself to defend his own people, his own Filipino people, his country, the name we called Philippines. He doesn't defend it. He doesn't secure it for our humanity rights or under our constitutional law. So just really sad and upset about the situation we have been through, because it's really, really embarrassing around the world. So I may have to say something about it, because I don't know what do you think about it, because whatever evidences they have there in ICC or International Court, that is not really illegal, because he's being arrested illegally, you know. So why I say it? Because at first he doesn't receive the warrant of arrest himself. He only have the warrant of arrest when they're about to do the hearing there in International Court. And the way they arrest him is really, 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 it's so aggressive. They even about to hurt the wife and then the daughter. Her clothes was really tear up apart. But as a daughter, Kitty, the daughter, she's only defending her parents. And just like God says, love and honor your parents. That's what she does. She just wants to show her love and protection to her parents against this illegal arrest, because we have a Supreme Court. If he violated such a constitutional law, they should tackle it and do the due process here in the Supreme Court we have, because we are not part of international law. We are no relationship with the ICC, and which is shameful for us Filipino around the world, because a lot of videos, a lot of news are viral now about the Philippines, and for me it's so embarrassing, and I'm just shameful to have kind of administration we have that doesn't know how to defend our constitutional law, our humanity rights. Each individual Filipino are in danger against this international law they're talking about, which is now 2 days ago, President Donald Trump says that international law is illegitimate. So, and he said he will never surrender individual or his people in America, or no one should have the authority if you are not belong with ICC or your country. You have to defend your people individually. You have to defend the humanity rights of each individual Filipino or each a citizen in your country under the constitutional law. But I think our human rights has been violated under the administration of this country, and I'm just expressing my feelings towards the situation about that. I'm so sad and upset about what is going on in my country. You know, what's going on with the politics. It's such kind of bad politicians who just wanted to destroy the reputation of our country, the reputation of each human rights of each individual of Filipino in the country. And I am a Filipino as well, and we have a court that should be tackled in our Supreme Court, whatever it takes, you know. Yes, I'm talking about our former president that's been illegally captured by ICC. For me, it is illegal because there is a rule. You know, there's step by step. You have to respect the court we have here in the Philippines. You are talking about humanity. You are talking about the human rights. Our former president have a human rights as well. You know, he have a human rights, and that's already not given for him. He's not even have given a chance to defend himself in front of our own court here in the Philippines, our national constitutional law in the Philippines, which is they violated it. They violated the human rights of our former president. If they're talking about humanity, I agree. I've heard a lot about it. Yes. It's just you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to be a low what do you call this? You don't have to be a judge or a lawyer to say whatever you think and whatever you feel. We all have a freedom of expression for our country. And this is my freedom of expression to say what I feel about the situation we have been through, and I don't want the situation because I have two kids, and what will be the future be for our children if there's a threat between our the human rights for each individual of us here in the Philippines. And I think that this administration should be abolished, and someone has to be stand for it. And I hope and calling President Trump to defend our constitutional law and give it back to us Filipino here in the Philippines, because I don't think it's being protected. It's being abused. The humanity rights of each individual here in the Philippines. And I feel unsecured. I feel not secured at all here in the Philippines for all of us. And it's just, you know, driving me crazy to think what will be the future be in this country. I hope that someone will stand and defend our humanity rights, each of us here in the Philippines. And I'm calling to President Trump that I hope that whatever he said about illegitimate those international law or the ICC, I hope he will stand for the Filipino. And I hope that our former president will be back if whatever cases that he have, that should be discussed and tackled here in our Supreme Court, because we have our own court. And that is already, you know, violated the humanity rights of the individual person in the Philippines, because we don't have relationship with ICC. We're not part of ICC. We have Interpol, but the Interpol has to respect our Supreme Court as well, our constitutional law, but they are violated the constitutional law. They don't do the procedure that they should through international law, and that's really there is a violation there, and that should be, you know, that should be solved or sorted out as soon as possible, because they're trying to capture an old man and a former president that really you know, working hard. He almost, like he dedicated all his life and dignity, integrity, with hardship, with just to do the drugs on war so that we will able to have safety, and we will feel we all Filipino feel safe during his term. But this time I don't feel safe at all, because we are talking about our constitutional law is very, very in danger. Where it's being violated, and how can we think that we're all safe here? And I hope that, uh, yeah, I'm trying to calling the attention of President Trump to stand and defend our humanity rights here in the Philippines, and maybe capture whoever responsible for whatever it takes, who violated our constitutional law in this country. And they have to pay to put our country in such kind of embarrassing. They embarrassed us all Filipino. It's like our Supreme Court, our constitutional law is just useless. It's weak. What what's the president doing here? He's weak? He's coward? What are the authorities could do? Are they coward? I think so. Because if they're not, why would you give our former president to ICC, which we have our own court? So that means they're coward. They should not be in that position at the first place. A lot of people deserve for that position to work better than how they work, because they're weak, they're coward. They have to they have to depend on other court, which we have our own court here in the Supreme Court here in the Philippines. It's just crazy, I've heard a lot about it. I've many friends there that they're also very much against what it is happening to your former president, rocket scientist. Yeah, I hope the future will be bright here. I might move there soon. Your former president deserves respect, and he should be left alone to retire in peace. Yes. Even if he doesn't want to be in the politics, people wanted, and we're eager. We're so we wanted him to be in the position, because yeah, a lot of bad politicians are violated the constitutional law. They abuse it. They put the law in their own hands. Like, we call it no one is above the law. But they put the law on their own hands, and the decision is on their own hands. They doesn't respect our constitutional law here. And that's very dangerous. They don't respect our Supreme Court. And the excuse, it's so weak excuse or cowardness excuse by the president saying, "Oh, look at Guo or the Pogo suspect 600 that's being, you know." But that's not our problem. The issue here we're talking about is the humanity rights. That's their problem. The authority, that means they're not that strong. They're not liable to be in that position. Because why those suspects escape under their control? They are in control, and I don't believe that they have nothing to do with it. They are in control of everything. When they could able to send our former president to international law, forcefully, illegally, and violated our constitutional law, what do you think about those suspects with Pogo? Of course, they have to do something with it. Whoever in charge should be the one to be questions about it. But they blame the former president. He is not in the position, he is not in the authority anymore to watch those suspects. It's under the watch of Risa Hontiveros and General Torre. The PNP has to do something with it because they are in charge. So the one who's in charge of the situation should be the one to be blamed. But they, you know what they do? They blame the former president. And now they use that as an excuse. That's why they capture and give President Duterte because of such suspects is escape in our country. Dang, that's really it's a shameful excuse that you put in danger our national security and violated the constitutional law just because you're excused that the pogo leader or whatever, those suspects, the Chinese suspects, escape in our country. That's not a good excuse because whatever excuse he have, it's really not part of constitutional law. It's not because it's not being, it's not being, the procedure that they're doing is not really part of constitutional law. It's their own law. It's a human law. It's not part of our justice here. So it's just this administration is just really useless and weak and coward. They want someone to defend them or to defend for their political will and political ambitions. And that's very shameful and embarrassing totally in our country. And I just can't realize that we are in the situation like this in the Philippines. Hello po sa Sir Charmads, Ate Marilyn, shoutout po. I'm gonna relax and watch TV almost my bedtime. I hope this will be sorted out soon. Yes. And that's why I hope, because so many days I got so stressed and I have depression and I could easily be affected with the situation we have. Because we love our president, Duterte. We respect him so much because he's done a lot good things for our country, good things for people. A lot. Under the constitutional law, under his policy by drugs on war. He not violated such policy that he created. Maybe he have a foul mouth, but I don't think that he is the one violating the human rights of those victims that they're talking about. Someone has to be blamed for that. Someone else do that just for them to cover up their mistakes. Someone has to be blamed and not our former president. He might have a foul words because that's his style. That's his way to scare off people not to violate our constitutional law, our justice in the Philippines against drugs on war. But I don't think that he is the kind of person, based on my observation, based on my experience outside during his term, he is the best president ever we have in the Philippines. And he doesn't deserve to be treated like that. He doesn't deserve to be treated so badly the way they did to him this time. All I can say is the Marcos administration is coward and weak. The authority we have are coward and weak. They should step down and leave and give that position to someone who deserve it, because they don't deserve to be part of any government positions, because they put our national security in danger. So I know that convicted De Lima is one of it, and Trillanes. Such dirty politics make us the whole nation or the whole country embarrassed around the world. They embarrassed us people. They put us in international embarrassment. It's embarrassing that we have a weak administration, weak authority, weak to protect our constitutional law in the country. That's all I can say. We have a weak authority. They don't protect our individual human rights, individual Filipino, like President Duterte. He doesn't deserve to be treated this way. Hello po, Kapitana. Shoutout po. Kaya, stress talaga ako, guys. Hindi ko alam kung sinong santo, paano ko magdasal, na sana makabalik na si President Duterte dito sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Masakit isipin na yung tao matanda na, may sakit pa, tinatrato pang parang akala mo asong may sakit na basta mo na lang ganunin, or alam mo yung parang bata na kinakawawa na walang isip. Yun ang ginagawa nila sa kanya eh. Tsaka tayo mga Pilipino, ginagawa tayong tanga. Ginagawa tayong mga tanga. Hindi naman tayo tanga, guys. Para ipakita nila yung kanilang katangahan din. Yung kanilang pagiging coward, pagiging pagiging weak, mahina. Unprotected authority, unprotected constitutional law is in danger really. Kung hindi nila kayang protektahan ang ating individual human rights, bakit pa tayo maniniwala sa mga yan? Bakit pa natin sila paniwalaan pa? Kasi you cannot trust such coward and weak government officials who doesn't know how to protect the individual Filipino, each human rights of the Filipino we have in the Philippines. They call it extrajudicial killings. We know a lot of policemen, a lot of government officials are truly involved with drugs, with illegal activities in the Philippines. When the President Duterte announced his policy and saying that we will have a drugs on war, what do you think about those people who are in positions that have the power with the authority? They take advantage that position. They take advantage that to do the extrajudicial killings, and it's not because that's the policy of the former President Duterte. Someone in a position that's belong to those illegal activities abused the drugs on war policy to protect their businesses, their illegal business. They don't like what our former President Duterte does because they're losing a lot of money. So of course, for them not to lose so much about it, they have to do something. Dirty gains. And they're using the international law or the international court or the ICC. So someone in an illegal activities, leaders, has to do something with the extrajudicial killings. And it's not because of our former President Duterte. They want to cover the whole lot so that someone will blame him instead of them. So for me, it's weak administration we have this time. And I regret voted Marcos, sorry. I regret voted him and believing that he could be good for our country, but he is really, really bad president we have. Very, very bad president in history in the Philippines. I'm sorry, Marcos, but I don't trust you. How could we trust you that you can't even protect our constitutional law? Nobody can trust you in this country. It's like you're selling us to the Divisoria. The ICC is the Divisoria and you are selling us to the Divisoria in a cheap way. This is a cheap way kind of treatments for us Filipino. We've been treated as a cheap people. Our humanity rights is been treated like a cheap goods. There's no human rights here. They're talking about humanity rights. There's no human rights here. Hello po, Sir Charmad. Shoutout po. Sorry guys ha, I'm just... Commander Vlogs, thank you po sa ano. I'm still emotional with the situation we have and I'm sorry that I have to say something about it because it doesn't make me happy. President Duterte's birthday is coming March 28th and my birthday is March 29th, so I'm Aries, he's Aries as well. Aries are good leaders, guys. When Aries do some work, we work hard for it with integrity. We work hard until our last breath. I know that's type of person he is because that's type of person I am. And I know who he is, myself. Isang araw lang sunod lang kami ni President Duterte ng birthday. March 28 sa kanya, sa akin March 29. So, kung ang tao na mabait, siya pa yung tinatatong ganun, guys. Nangyari din sa akin yan eh, kaya dito sa YouTube. So, I understand na kahit hindi ka masama, pinapasama ka. Pinapalabas kang masama sa mata ng tao, sa mata ng publiko. I experienced that. Kaya nga siguro hindi umano yung ano ko kasi yun nga. Minasama yung situation ko na ganito, ganyan ako. Pero tahimik na lang ako kasi pero yung tatahimik ako para sa bansa ko, hindi. I fight not just for my country, but I fight for the world as well. Kaya, I'm a fighter for the human rights. But our human rights is not here anymore. It's not protected. It's being violated by the leaders of our country. So, the national security is done. We no longer have security in our country because even our authority doesn't protect the human rights of the individual person or Filipino person in this country. They violated the human rights of that person. That's our former president. We've done so much good things in our country. How could someone has to put the law on their own hand and disrespected and violated the constitutional law in this country, which is not fair at all. But God is not sleeping. God is watching us all. There are always gonna be a karma for all of this. And I believe in karma. When you do good things, you will have good karma. When you do bad things, you will have bad karma. And bad karma will come around for those who violated the law. And not just the law in the earth, the law by God. Because every constitutional law is also based on the law by God. So that's also being based by the law of God. So when you violated the constitutional law, you violated the law of God as well. Because, whoever the government official, before they announce to be like president, vice president, whatever position they have to put their hands in top of the Bible, because they have to make promises. They have to do their duties to serve the country, not to be the law for the country. You can't be the law. You are not above the law. So I'm just expressing my feelings towards the situation we have been through in this country, because it's very embarrassing and very shameful already. And I hope that President Trump will defend and help our constitutional law, our human rights in the Philippines. Give us back our freedom, our human rights. Please help Philippines against bad politicians, bad leaders in this country. So calling Mr. President Trump to help, to defend, to stand for our human rights in the Philippines. Thank you po. Guys, mag-live ako ulit ha. Kasi ayoko itong haluan ng natin, yung mga pinagsasabi ko. So, thank you so much everyone for being in my live stream, and see you for my next live. Bye. God bless. God bless Philippines. And ICC, send back our President Duterte in the Philippines. Don't violate his human right. We are not have any relationship with you, and you are being called illegitimate by President Trump. And I believe with that, because you violated the international law yourselves. And the leaders in the Philippines violated the constitutional law in our country. That case has to be tackled and has to do the procedures or the due process here in the Philippines. In our Supreme Court, we have our own court. We should not depend on any court, because we have our own court in the Philippines. So we're not weak, but too late. The president and the general Torre show the cowardness and the weakness for them not to protect the human rights of the individual Filipino in the Philippines. Our national securities are in danger. Please, President Trump, stand for our President Duterte, for our human rights here in the Philippines. Thank you, and God bless everyone. Bye.